Tried to go for the tree. So just remember, obviously small scale jumps with this thing, branches and stuff, rocks, boulders, everything is times 10 for this little guy to handle. But it's doing pretty good. So I'll do a full speed jump into myself here. Whoa! Gotta get the shot, right? This is to get the shot. Put yourself in harm's way. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. Got a steering issue. All right. We might have our first breakage. I hear the steering servo flipping out. All right. All right, well, looks like we got a little bit of destruction on the Hosim power. And, well, it is what it is, right? Crap.
Do we have the technology? Can we rebuild? Find out with rcguygarage.
What do you think? Do you think this thing did a good job? Obviously, you know it didn't survive what I did to it, the final hit. The final hit was it. Not sure what's broken, but we're going to get into the next video. Now to understand, I think he's pissed because the car was on his block. Yeah. What? Are you looking at the batteries? Or are you looking at my wife? So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and we're back inside with the Hosim. Like I said, I was gonna try to see what was going on with this thing. I suspect we possibly did break something, but the only way to find out, I was eating lunch. The only way to find out is to break into it. So if you want to see what happened to the little 1/16 scale Hosim after we ripped it on 3S in the backyard track, we're gonna just check it out right now. All right, so the Hosim is back on the deck here. It's very dirty. So it's going to create, you know, a mess taking this thing apart. I did give it a couple smacks on the bottom of the chassis just to see if I could get some of this dirt off, but a lot of it just kind of stayed on. So, yeah. The body seems to be faring well than the original body. The original body seemed to be a little bit more brittle. Battery pack was loose. So we're going to take that off. This is a 3S Z 1300 milliamp 120C, so it's 11.1 volts. And this pack was probably all this thing could take, keeping in mind that this strap did shift around kind of based upon how I was driving this thing. So there is still a lot of dirt and stuff that is packed in here. So, it does appear as though I broke the servo saver. Yeah. That's kind of a bummer, man. Because the servo saver is what's supposed to save... Well, I mean, it did save the servo, though, didn't it? It just didn't save the fact that now this thing is broken. Alright. Although there's a little screw to get to right there. So it looks like there's 3 screws holding down this servo. There's obviously a plug going into the receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can access these 3 screws. Just to see what kind of damage there is. That's why you should have a magnet. So you have these little magnets. You can obviously pull your fastener out. A lot of times I'll stick a magnet actually to the screwdriver or the driver. So now this servo should pop out. Oh, servo cover. Here's the little servo. And there's a wire on the opposite side that looks like I need to use a pair of needle nose to grab and pull pull that out. Which, it's the brace. So this brace is kind of holding it in. So I'm going to release the 3 screws that are in the front here. And this is a compact design, and somebody else had mentioned, you know, this is why they like their Arrmas, that 5 minutes and they've got their chassis all torn down. It's like, well, right, but this is also a 1/16 scale. Everything is that much smaller. And how many times did it take you to get to that 5-minute mark of being able to rip your Arrma down? Now that I've taken this thing apart, I know what screws go where, so it is easier to go ahead and do the things that I'm doing right now. Like, see how knowing that all I had to do was do that to get my little servo out. So it's definitely a clear break. So this being a servo saver, man, didn't really, I mean, like, it saved the servo, but I think this might have been too tight. Got stuck. See, I don't know why you do that. Get out of there. All right. You gotta be careful with these guys because they'll come over and steal your stuff. All right. Get out of here. Get mad at me. So I'm going to go ahead and take the little screw out, which is holding the little broken arm on. And what I was thinking, is it possible for me to either fix this? Can I glue it? Probably not. I'm going to say no. So it's this little piece right here that's snapped in half. And I do believe that was probably because this was too tight. So I'm going to pop this off. It is adjustable. I'm going to pop it off so I can get a look at the teeth here. So it is obviously a plastic geared servo. Doesn't need to be metal. Don't know if you'd call that waterproof. It's maybe water resistant. They do have material right there, glue, that's kind of blocking the hole there. So I think the servo itself is fine. Yeah. So servo itself is fine. Yeah, I'm thinking, does this even really need a servo saver? So I was trying to see as if a regular servo horn could fit in place. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, it's definitely, it's a bigger thing there, but it might be because I'm using older servo horns. I don't think I've got anything else that would fit that. Wait a second. I actually have what appears to be almost the same servos, but it doesn't look like I've got... that's a micro. These ones are different. This definitely looks like it's... maybe it looks like it's this size, but for some reason... Oh, wait a minute. What do we got here? Is that the mini? It's for the mini servo. But could I take this mini servo and put it in place? And then run the RC? No, I can't. Because it bolts on. So this won't work. It's not like I'm going to have this piece, but if I had just a regular servo arm, might be able to just bypass the actual servo saver that was on the servo. I'll be right back, see if I can find it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a servo like horn that would fit that servo. I mean, I could slam one on and make it happen, but don't know if I'm that interested in doing that right now. having the teeth on there kind of is a benefit, right? So it seems as though it's just a little bit bigger than a regular Futaba, which I got a bunch of Futaba servo horns as well as a bunch of Hobao. That company right there. Not that you can even see it. But anyways, I just realized that right now. But anyways, so I'm going to punch in Hosim, H-O, and just hit the enter. H-O and hit the enter. Ho! You guys remember the wrestler that used to say, ho! If you remember who the wrestler was, let me know. All right, so disc did not properly, all this other good stuff. Welcome to Hosim. We don't need that. So we want parts and accessories. We want parts and accessories for that series. That's the Q09905 because obviously the HP is just the high performance, I think, version of that. So we're going to jump on there. We're going to go to hopefully find a servo saver, which, dang. So they don't just sell the servo saver by itself. Isn't that unfortunate? So right there, that's where you're going to come across a problem. So the piece that broke, man, that's kind of garbage. Only 12 items in stock. Yeah, no kidding. I wish there was a way. I don't want to figure out. Maybe if I type in servo horn for a mini servo, because that's called a mini servo, right? 3-wire digital servo. If I type in what this is, so if I do that, copy it, go up to here, paste it in there, and I put servo saver. Servo saver. Looks like it's just wire servo accessory spare. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what this website is. So that looks like it's the... Nope. Dang. Looks like we're out of luck. I do servo saver for Hosim. I got some servo saver for Hosim 118th. Does it say Aussie AUS Electronics? So this is where you end up with the problem. Hosim 116th. Let's see. That says tracks the C Revo. That's just the same damn thing. So it looks like you actually have to buy the whole servo, unless you could find the actual servo arm that would fit that. Which, yeah. So I guess in that case you're out of luck. So I may be forced to see if I can adapt one of the servo arms that I have, just like one of the plastic Futaba ones. See if I can take one of the plastic Futaba ones and maybe force it to fit. I could use the other car as a donor vehicle, but nah, I'm not really interested in doing that. I don't know why, but I'm just not. But that servo saver, I'm guessing, was too solid. Because it saved the servo, but it broke the arm. And I really don't think that should have happened. Maybe I should check and see if an Arrma servo would fit on that thing. But wouldn't that be funny, huh? Let's check it out. Yeah, that was a sip of coffee. So, it did take a little bit of, there are words that you use for what I did. But it did take a little bit. Basically, it took one trial piece of a servo saver that I tried. This piece was a piece of garbage. That was one of those round ones. It's an old style. It's not the actual arm. It's one of the old style from when I had planes. And then what I ended up doing is I had one of those long ones. And I ended up cutting it down. So I cut it down, and you can see that it works perfectly fine. So I'm going to set up the camera here, plug in this little 3S pack. And perfect. So I did have to very slightly clearance the chassis. It's very minor. And that's because, well, that's because this isn't designed for that. But it does work now. You can see when we crank the wheel all the way to the left, we got the clearance that we need. We're full lock, left and right. All right, so that's it. So it wasn't like it took a lot, but obviously you could see online the difficulty that we obviously ran into was either scavenging it off of the old one, which I didn't really feel like doing, turning it into a parts rig. I mean, I really don't want to, because that means there's two that are running right now. And the only other option was to try to figure it out. So yeah, it was either buy the whole servo for 12 bucks or 13 bucks or figure it out. So I choose figure it out. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage. Hopefully you enjoyed this little episode of, I don't even know what the heck this was. Working on the little Hosim. We did have a little bit of a failure, but it's fixed now, and this thing is back on the road. Or at least will be back on the road after I resolder my connector. It happens. It happens to the worst of us. So, like I always say, just, oh, a couple of other things are coming to the merch channel. Just got to get a couple of things straightened out. We have some 4XL shirts, some 3XL shirts coming to the channel for the bigger guys. And, yeah. Anyways, that's it. Just get out there and rip something.